Good day, folks, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be looking at another Softail, and that is the Softail Standard. But first, let's have a look at our viewer bike for the week. This is Roshan's, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. 2019 Fat Boy, all the way from India. This two-tone fatty has a Screamin' Eagle Extreme Heavy Breather, Vance & Hines Mini Grenades, Vance & Hines Fuel Pack 4, and HD luggage rack, sissy bar, plugs, and wires. Pretty nice looking bike, so thanks to Roshan for sending that in. And if you would like to see your bike in a video, send me a pic. My email address is in the description to this video. So here we are at my local dealer, Prairie Harley Davidson, just outside of Regina, Saskatchewan. And this is the 2024 Softail Standard. This new version of the Standard came out in 2020. It's basically your entry-level Softail, so it doesn't come with a lot of bells and whistles. The bike only comes in the chrome trim and has two color options for 2024, the Vivid Black, like this model, and the Base Billiard Gray. The Standard comes with the 107 cubic inch Milwaukee 8 engine, putting out 87 horsepower and 110 foot-pounds of torque. This bike is just over 7.5 feet long and weighs 655 pounds in running order. It has a 4.9 inch ground clearance and a seat height of 25.8 inches. The fuel tank holds 3.5 gallons and gets an estimated 47 miles per gallon. The wheels are silver Annihilator cast aluminum. The front is a 19-inch wheel with a 100 tire, and the rear has a 16-inch wheel with a 150 tire. Both tires are the Dunlop Harley-Davidson series. The headlight is LED, with the rest of the lighting being incandescent. There is a small 2.14-inch LCD display on the riser between the Mini Ape handlebars. This display shows speedometer, gear, odometer, fuel level, clock, trip, fuel range, and tach. Now, the Standard is a nice little stripped-down cruiser, but let's take it out and see how she rides. So, as I said before, this version of the Softail Standard came out in 2020 and is the lowest priced big twin. The lower price is basically just because this bike does not come with much. At first glance, it looks pretty basic, and technically it is. It's meant to be your plain blank canvas to build your bike upon. As the name suggests, it's just your standard Softail. I have to say that the handling on this bike is pretty good, with a decent lean angle of 28.5 degrees to either side, and those slimmer tires, it takes the corners quite well, and the lower weight of around 650 pounds helps maneuvering as well. As for power on the Standard, well, it's okay. The Standard only has the 107 Milwaukee 8, and you can tell. I suppose I might notice it more as the bikes I've been riding, and of course the one I own, are a higher displacement. And while it has decent power, it still obviously falls short of the 114s. Maybe Harley will look at upping the displacement in the next year or two. That's very hard to say. And the air cleaner on this engine is pretty simple as well. It's just a plain black bowl style with a single bolt in the middle. Now, comfort on this bike was not too bad. When first looking at this model, I wondered how the solo seat would hold up. It turns out it is quite plush, almost too much so. It was very comfy once I first got on, but after a little while, you feel like you sink so far down that you almost feel like you're riding on the seat pan. I felt that the seat could use a little more firmness. The Standard has mid controls, which I'm not especially fond of on bikes, but they keep you planted just fine. I would opt for forward controls on this bike if it were mine. And I have to say that the mini ape hangers are pretty much the perfect height, at least for me at 6 feet tall, to keep you in that upright riding position. The exhaust and brakes are pretty much the same as per usual. The Standard comes with quiet shotgun style exhaust that you won't be able to hear at highway speeds. And the brakes are on solid expansion rotors, a 4-piston caliper on the front, and a 2-piston caliper on the back. The suspension is also your regular Softail suspension, dual bending valve 49mm telescopic forks in the front, and the 43mm stroke monoshock in the rear. This monoshock has the cam style preload adjustment, and in my opinion, the monoshock is the best stock suspension in the rear anyway Harley has. The electronics on this bike are pretty basic as well. As I had stated before, a large LED headlight is out front with incandescent lighting the rest of the way around. The gauge is a 2.14-inch LCD display mounted in the handlebar riser, and it will show you your speed, gear, odometer, fuel level, fuel range, clock, trip, and tach. And as far as rider safety enhancement goes, not really much. All you have is optional ABS. Now, to sum up this motorcycle in one word, I would say that word is basic. From the seat to the gas tank to the lighting and wheels, there is really nothing all that special about this bike, and I guess that's the point. Harley put this bike out to be a model that you can customize, and the company loves when you customize. They make a lot of money on the customization. I know from experience. I also know that if this was my bike, I would be changing the seat, getting a larger fuel tank, changing the pipes, the air cleaner, and probably getting at least a stage 2. I'd also be going with forward controls over the mids. And that's just the start. You could easily take this bike from roughly $15,000 US to $20,000 or even $25,000, depending on what you wanted to do. And that is exactly what Harley is expecting. But the bike in its stock form is not a bad bike for an entry-level Softail, but like I said before, it's very basic. I would probably opt for the Street Bob over the Softail Standard, as they are fairly close to one another, but at least with the Street Bob, you'd be getting the 114 engine. Anyway, let's hear what you guys think about this bike in the comments. Now, of course, before I go, I have to give a thank you and a shout out again to my local dealership, Prairie Harley Davidson, for getting me out on the new Softail Standard and all the other bikes I've reviewed as well. They are an independent, locally family-owned and operated dealership. They aren't owned by a big corporation like many of the dealers today. They've remained a family-run business for, I believe, around 3 generations now. And these are the dealers we need to support. So if you feel like checking them out, I will have their contact info in the description to this video. But that is it for now, folks, and I will see you in the next one.